Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. And that's Elle. She's going to sleep on the chair for you. So you get, all you people that love your kitties, get your kitty fix. She'll be in the title as Elle the House Cheetah. And I will be doing my reading, trying to distract you from the cat. A few days ago, like 9 days ago, March 5th, Chip Roy, who's a House of Representative member out of Texas, and Senator Mike Lee, a Republican from Utah, introduced the ICC out of NYC Act, a legislation that would forbid the United Nations properties in New York from being used, leased, or occupied by representatives or employees of the International Criminal Court, which they claim has long worked against America and her allies. Congressman Roy said the ICC should be sanctioned, at the very least shouldn't have offices in the United Nations. Congress needs to take swift action to deport them from New York. Senator Lee said the United States is not a signatory on the International Criminal Court, a body outside of American law that has repeatedly threatened the sovereignty of America and our allies across the globe. We have our own laws and we can enforce them on criminals ourselves. America should not play host to an organization that pretends to have made-up power over them. Going to the ICC's site, the ICC says that it's intended to complement, not replace, the national criminal systems. It prosecutes cases only when states do not or are unwilling or are unable to do so genuinely. And that they're not part of the UN, but they have a working cooperation with the UN. So what does that all mean? Trump and his acolytes are a little bit scared. They're comfortable right now knowing that the Supreme Court and the current Attorney General likely wouldn't prosecute Trump on crimes against humanity or anything along those lines. But the ICC could, and they don't want that. And the only way the ICC could do it would be, likely through the UN offices in New York. So as a preemptive legislation, they want Congress to come in and prevent the ICC, basically make it illegal for the ICC to hold court in the United Nations building. Why would you go to such lengths unless you were concerned that they would come in and do that and would have cause? You didn't put that when Biden was in office. You didn't do it when Obama was in office, or George W., or Bill Clinton, or George Herbert Walker Bush, or even Ronald Reagan. None of those guys nobody felt the need to put that legislation in there. What's so different about Donald Trump that you feel the need to do this? Sometimes their preemptive actions speak volumes. There's no reason for this. Why would you bother with legislation for something that's never happened? Unless you think it's going to happen. So, for entertainment purposes only, let's look at the energy around Chip Roy and Mike Lee. We know Mike Lee's a crook. He's an absolute traitor to this country and has been so since the 2016 election. Chip Roy, that's kind of a new one to the traitor pool. I'm kind of curious, what dog does he have in this fight? What skeletons does he have in his closet that all of a sudden he doesn't want Donald or somebody in the United States? It doesn't have to be Donald Trump. He doesn't want people in the United States to be held accountable by the ICC. People that our country wouldn't prosecute otherwise. Which sounds like Donald Trump, doesn't it? So, for entertainment purposes only, and with a little kitty here, let's go see what's going on. Oh, isn't she adorable? Okay, ICC. What is it with Mike Lee and Chip Roy about the ICC? Between the two of them, they've got 4 first names. Okay, so we got the 3 of coins here. This is working behind the scenes, projects, also a conspiracy. I'm willing to go with the conspiracy card here. Again, Why don't you make it illegal for giraffes to fly spaceships? Elle's leaving. There's no reason to have a law about giraffes flying spaceships. We don't have giraffes, and, well, other than Elon Musk's spaceships, which are blowing up, we haven't had many spaceships really either. Maybe the aliens have something against giraffes flying spaceships, but there you go. So there's conspiracy discussions going on. Cross with the Four of Swords. It's like they know something is coming, and they're trying to keep secrets really on the down low. And there could be a real big money component that's going on with this. If this was like human trafficking or arms trafficking or something along those lines, it could have something to do with Gaza and crimes against humanity against the Palestinians because Trump wants to build a bunch of casinos in Gaza. Something like that. But there's a big money component underneath this. Either the money's leading to this or there is money motivating this. And they're trying to keep this buried. They're trying to keep things secret so the truth doesn't get out. In the past, you got the Eight of Cups. It probably has something to do with immigration and mass migration. Again, human trafficking would come to mind with something along those lines. Current situation is the King of Swords. They are very, Jack Smith. Here you go. This is my Jack Smith card. Jack Smith came for the World Criminal Courts. He tried, international courts trying at The Hague. And now guess what? They're trying to prevent the Jack Smiths of this world from getting a hold of the situation. They are terrified of this man. Oh, that looks so familiar. Okay, the Lover's card. There are a lot of complicit people involved in this. I really, really, really think it's sex and human trafficking. I really think that. I've been saying that for about a year or two now with Trump, that he's got some really dark shit going on there, and I think this is what it has to do with it. So I don't necessarily think it's the Palestinians per se, helping Israel bomb them to obliteration. I'm sure Netanyahu will get to face the International Criminal Court for that. But I think this is more human trafficking. And you've got these agreements, big agreements and other agreements here. The lesson to be learned is careful who's going to slip the Mickey in your cup when you can't trust them. I think that these two guys got tied up into it in a minor amount, and I bet you they have some legal exposure to this. They're not the big players, but they are related to whatever this is. The outcome is the Nine of Coins. There's money. It's all about money. Again, the whole policy about separating children from their parents at the border, on the southern border, would fall into this category. What were they doing with the children? And in some cases, they were separating the girl children from the boy children. And not like to put them in different areas, but like separating them. As opposed to not keeping brothers and sisters together type of thing. And there were questions being asked. What are you doing with the female children, the girl children? Almost as if what they're trying not to say out loud is, where you're sex trafficking them, where are they? I didn't expect this reading to go into that direction. My apologies. I didn't have a trigger warning for you. But I didn't expect it to go there, but here we are. Dark as heck. Well, I could be wrong. In some ways, I hope I'm wrong. Because I don't want to have to go deal with that. I don't want to delve into it, but you ask the question, you get the answers, and it is what it is. Chip Roy and Mike Lee, just a quick 4-carder. How deep in this are they? 10 of coins. That's about lineage, top to bottom. It's also money. There's the corruption. The Hermit card. Disappointment. Oh, God, there's so much money here. There's so much money. People are following the money trail. They see the corruption and the shame. It's like they got paid to do things that they didn't think that whatever gets the light of day would see that. They got connected. There's a money connection for them with this crime. And somehow they were able to convince themselves to look the other way. That type of thing. Kind of like they but they weren't my kids, or they were illegal, they were illegal alien kids. They were nobody. They were going to die anyways. They were going to be impoverished, so who cares? This kind of dismissal of the value of a human life. Again, entertainment purposes only. I'm just reading tarot cards on a explosive subject. I cannot prove that Mike Johnson and Chip Roy did that. I wouldn't go over to their house, accuse them of being sex traffickers, and take vigilante justice on them, nor would I recommend anybody do that. I'm just reading the energy around it. And I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong on this one. Really don't care to be the subject of a lawsuit saying that I defamed them, saying that they're sex traffickers, when I don't have an iota of proof other than a deck of cards in my hand. But if you're interpreting those cards and using your intuition and trying to create a narrative, answering the question that was asked, that's what my interpretation would be. In the end of the day, the investigations will happen. Now, will there be investigations? Will this legislation gain traction? I mean, I could just see the debates. Like, why do we need this? Who would we possibly be protecting? Why don't we have legislation to prevent giraffes from flying spacecraft? Why not just roll that in with this bill, and we'll knock out 2 birds with 1 stone? And maybe there's some other rather improbable things that could happen that you want to throw in there too. Like Mexico annexing the United States. Maybe we should put in legislation not allowing us to be annexed with Mexico. Whatever. Okay. Does this is this going anywhere? Is this going to gain any traction? 7 of Wands. They're going to fight, try and get this thing through. The problem is that you have to, in order to successfully get this through, you're going to have to answer questions, as the mysterious questions like, why do we need this? What good is this? And underneath it all is the Page of Pentacles, the values. It's the messaging of, how are you going to convince a bunch of people to pass this act? How are you going to convince them that this, everything that's going on in the world, this is our priority? In the past, 6 of Cups, what a quaint idea. This is normally the type of thing that would get tabled and never picked up again. That type of thing. Current situation, 8 of Coins. They're hard at work, though. Shaking hands with $20 bills in it type of thing. But they're hard at work trying to get this thing through. Overarching energies, 6 of Swords. Now, is this to prevent overseas justice from coming in? Again, it's sending women and children overseas type of thing. It moves forward, but it's not moving forward quickly. This is going to be a slow process because there's no urgency to it. The lesson to be learned is it's almost like it's going so slowly that it's losing momentum. It's never a priority in the House and the Senate to get this over here. And maybe the urgency is that they've got 2 years in the House or so before the Democrats hopefully take over the House or the Senate. So they're trying to get this act through while they can, but it's not fast moving. I think they're going to run out of runway here. Outcome is the Four of Wands. They could be successful. Four of Wands is bringing in this new legislation or kicking somebody out. It is possible that they do get this through. If they do, it's going to be at the last moment. But, we're looking at a couple years here at least before we get on that. This could also be that it's rejected outright. Let's throw one clarifier on it, shall we? Is this being acted or being kicked out? Uh-oh. We got the King of Swords here. This is talking about the King of Swords. I think maybe the King of Swords gets in. Being bound by the decision and charging forward. Man, look at all those swords. I wouldn't... It's possible. It is possible that they block it, but here's what... That's what this thing is all about. It's about keeping out the Jack Smiths and the ICCs out of the United States because you will be bound by their decisions. I think that's probably going to be their argument, is that we never signed the Roman Accords or whatever it is that binds us to them, therefore they can't do that. But again, that could be the argument. It's like, well, what are you worried about? Why would you have to pass this legislation? We never saw those things anyways. Maybe that's something that needs to be resolved in the courts before we vote on this legislation. No, why vote on a legislation that's not needed? I think it was Sterling who I first heard talking about seeing trials like on The Hague. It was intuitive a while ago during Trump's first administration that talked about, Hague-like trials. And The Hague is in the Netherlands, and the Netherlands is where the ICC or the ICC capital is, right? I've got that in this article here. Okay, that's right. As a judicial institution, the ICC does not have its own police force or enforcement body, thus it relies on cooperation with countries worldwide for support, particularly for making arrests, transferring arrested peoples to the ICC detention center in The Hague, freezing suspects' assets, and enforcing sentences. Will there be ICC trials in the United States in the next 5 years? Page of Pentacles. There's that messaging again. Corruption. Forward planning. Walking away. And then MAGA. Will there be? There'll be discussions about it. Plans. We can... It's kind of like we could do this the easy way or the hard way. They may not be in the United States, or there'll be discussions about it, but it could be overseas as well. But definitely there's corruption. There's going to be discussion about future actions involving the corruption of folks in the United States and folks outside. And underneath it all is that crazy belief system that people had. 5 years is possible. I'm sorry, I'm so waffling here. I think there's discussions of it. What that tells me is that I don't think you'll see Donald Trump in front of an ICC, an International Criminal Court. At least not as long as he's the president of the United States. It's not going to happen. Mostly because I don't think he will live long enough to do it. And then it will be an interesting fight to extradite him if for some reason the ICC can't have court cases in the United States. But, if the Democrats do take Congress and the presidency, they can overturn this act should the act get passed. Justice, if this act gets passed, justice will be delayed and possibly denied. But so many fish to fry, so little time. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Oh, sorry she didn't stick around. Michelle came home. There was sounds of like food going on downstairs, so she isn't one to miss a meal. Thank you again for supporting my channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.